How is everybody doing? I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. Tis I, the Native Patriot. I just want to make a quick video, which is probably going to turn into a long 10-minute rant of mine. And you get to look at my lovely sweeper, refills, and food in the background. But anyways, I want to talk about this concept of quiet quitting and how that has to do with millennials and Gen Zers, and basically how the general consensus is that millennials and Gen Zers are just lazy people that don't want to work. And to a certain extent, I kind of understand. Excuse me. I kind of understand that. And I also kind of disagree with it to a certain extent, which is why I want to make this video to kind of just explain my thoughts. If you have not heard what quiet quitting is, it's basically this concept that instead of quitting the job that you currently have that you don't like anymore, you just stop going above and beyond for your employer and you do the bare minimum so that you don't get fired. And you basically just fly under the radar and I guess do the work that you're getting paid for, but nothing more than that. And so there are some people that say that this is really lazy and that you're just being selfish and blah, 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 which again, to a certain extent, I understand that. But at the same time, I also agree that if you feel like you're going above and beyond for your employer and you don't feel like you're getting appreciated or you're not especially getting more compensation for going above and beyond, it can kind of make you salty and resentful to your job. And I've definitely been there many times and honestly kind of feel like that right now in my current job. Although I have to stick with my job because I have to finish school, and that's a whole nother story that you can watch in my previous video, the cons or the consequences of leaving California. So I'm still trying to finish my degree, which eventually will get me a higher paying job. But currently, right now, I'm just doing like entry level work. I'm doing low skill jobs that has to do with like food service basically. And especially because of 2020, a lot of employers are kind of making employees do the job of like 2 or 3 other people. And sometimes it can get really overwhelming and sometimes it feels like you're working a lot for not that much money. And again, I know the consensus tends to be that, oh, you're just a lazy millennial or you're a lazy Gen Zer. And again, to a certain extent, I understand that. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, what not initiative, but what incentive do I have then to go above and beyond for my employer if I'm not getting compensated for going above and beyond? You know what I mean? I'm like yourself, you're also like, I don't want to say an asset, but like your energy is also like a physical thing. So if I'm wasting more of my energy to not get compensated more, then what's the incentive for me to spend more energy at my job when I can just do the bare minimum and still make the same amount of money, and then I can use that energy doing something else? Does that make sense? And especially when it comes to the political right, which I am on the political right, a lot of times, like, the political right will say that millennials and Gen Zers are lazy because they want more money for little work and all this stuff. And like, again, I understand that. I also think that millennials and Gen Zers are in a different spot than generations before us. Like, college is way more expensive, and wages really haven't gone up. And again, that can be a whole different conversation. I'm not the type of person that says that like the federal government should increase wages like by law. That's not my view because I think that should happen naturally. But again, I don't want to get involved in that conversation because this video is already at 4 minutes long. But America used to be known for its entrepreneurship and for thinking outside the box, and people would go out and be entrepreneurs and make lots of money because they thought outside of the box. And I feel like now our country has become a lot more corporatized. I don't know if that's necessarily the right word I'm looking for, but it's like a lot of people, and including myself, and to a certain extent, I'm a hypocrite of that. That instead of me going out there and being an entrepreneur, I'm doing the easiest thing I can do, which is find a job with a giant corporation that's going to employ me. And again, the downside of that is because a lot of these big corporations, they say like, oh, we're a family and all this stuff, but it's like they can replace you tomorrow if they wanted to. And especially when it comes to these low skill, low wage jobs, there's plenty of people that can replace you and do your job. So again, that also adds like a level of saltiness and resentment to your employer, because again, if I'm not getting compensated to go above and beyond, and I know that you have no loyalty to me, it's just like a crappy situation. And again, my personal plan and my personal effort is to finish school so that I can get a higher paying job. And of course, when you're getting paid more, you have more incentive to work harder and to be more loyal to your employer because they're paying you really good. And again, watch my last video to find out why I can't finish school right now. But so I'm not just coming on here to complain about why, the world is against me, but just sharing my thoughts on how I feel about this situation. That yes, I know plenty of lazy millennials and Gen Z people, because especially the current job that's adding to my saltiness. I work with a lot of young people, and a lot of them like to call off and not show up. So again, I so far have not missed a day of work since working there. And so it's like, okay, now I'm having to do the work of two people because somebody called off. And it's like, again, it's not like I'm getting that other person's hourly wage added to my wage if they don't show up that day. I'm getting my same wage whether they show up or not, and I have to deal with their load of work if they didn't show up. Does that make sense? So in that aspect, yes, I get salty sometimes. Yes, I feel like, like, why am I going above and beyond for this job if I'm not really getting an incentive? Again, yes, I'm doing something to rectify that situation, which is eventually finish school so that I can get a better paying job that will hopefully incentivize me more to work harder and to go above and beyond. Anyways, this video is already 7 minutes. In conclusion, this whole quiet quitting thing and how the general consensus seems to be that millennials and Gen Zers are lazy. I kind of agree with that, as I said, to a certain extent, but at the same time, I feel like there's definitely plenty of smart millennials and Gen Zers out there that kind of recognize the situation that I just said, that like, why would you go above and beyond if you have no incentive to go above and beyond other than your employer saying, hey, nice job today, but I could fire you tomorrow. Does that make sense? Anyways, I'm going to stop it there. I hope what I said made sense. I know I kind of rambled, but if you haven't followed me already on social media, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and True Social at The Native Patriot, just the way that's spelled here, and I hope to see you guys later. Bye.